All right, people, I got special guests with me. More coming. We're talking this blockbuster bang 'em up news. Xbox is now working with Facebook Gaming, and they're doing a strategic partnership, which includes Xcloud, and they're shutting down Mixer. Y'all know the phrase. Let's get into it.
Stay sick cause I follow my gut. They say I was pushing my luck. I'ma push me a matte all black truck. I'm not sorry.
What's up, people? What's up, people? What's up, people? I'm here with two great guys here on the cloud gaming Stadia side. I'm at a loss for words because this is big. If those that have watched the great comedy, The Martin Show, where whenever Martin was in a jam, he go, "God damn, God damn, God damn." That's what a lot of us are thinking right now that are fans of Stadia. And we're going to talk about this maybe, for about an hour, maybe a little bit over an hour or so. We may not be here too long. It depends. We're going to let this show carry itself. But holy cannoli. Okay, so I'm going to back up a little bit. Let me share my screen. And then I'm just going to turn it over to Chase and Duncan after this. Let me do formal introductions. I am so sorry, guys. I'm like all over the place because here's what happened. I was having a nice game of Elder Scrolls Online over on Twitch. I was trying to help my brother Chase, and then my brother Chase destroyed my whole world by bringing me this news via Duncan, the investigator extraordinaire. And I had to cut my Twitch stream short, and I had to come over here. Wow. So for those of you that are not aware, there were some tweets earlier in the weekend that just expired, Father's Day's weekend, about maybe some racial overtones and some things that have happened with somebody that worked for Mixer, and it didn't look pretty. Phil Spencer went and said, "You know what? I reached out to the guy. We're going to have a meeting." That was earlier today, I think, or late last night, about it because it made big news. On the heels of that, it looks like, but we know that this was in the works longer. On the heels of that, Microsoft has announced that they're shutting down Mixer, which has been seeing problems. They've shut down Mixer, and now they're going to do a strategic partnership with Facebook Gaming. On the surface of that may sound bad, but it's not for Microsoft because there are some things that they're going to integrate with Facebook Gaming that involves Xcloud, and it's going to sound hella familiar. Before I get into that, I want to let me shout out everybody in the chat. We got Stadia Revolution in the house. We got Jay Stroke. We got Antonio. We got Keith McDermott. We got Raven Anime. We got Jairus. And we got Cold Blood Sensei. We got Pitt in the house as well. Look, let me explain. Okay, so here's what I would like to do, y'all. I'm going to put the article out on the screen. Chase, can you read the article? Do you have it on the screen? I want you. I'm going to share.
Is it from The Verge?
Yeah, the one from The Verge.
Yeah, I'll grab the parts that I thought were the most integral.
Exactly. Yeah. Go read those parts, and then I'm going to shut up for a while because I got to put my heart back in my chest. And then after you read the integral parts, then Duncan, we need you to give us your thoughts because we all try to come down the middle, but you're the most precise down the middle about all this stuff. So after Chase gives reads the information, Duncan, can you give us your thoughts on it? And then Chase, you elaborate, and I'll hopefully my heart will be back in my chest and we'll all talk about it.
Yeah. Well, shout out to Tom Warren because he wrote this,
Yeah, big up to Tom. my buddy Tom Warren, yeah.
He wrote this. So basically the overview of this article is breaking down that Facebook Gaming is now going to be the official streaming partner for Microsoft going forward. Mixer is going to cease operation as of July 22nd. Full integration will happen with Facebook Gaming. Any Mixer partners will be granted partner status with Facebook Gaming. Any streamers that are using the Mixer monetization program will be granted eligibility for Facebook's Level Up program, which is very, very good. Mixer viewers with outstanding Ember balances, channel subscriptions, or Mixer Pro subscriptions will receive Xbox gift card credit. That's a good shout from them. Let me get down to the part that was important. 2 seconds here. Trying to get this other part.
It's right under that, I think, where it says Microsoft's choice to partner with Facebook. But then you slice this up because you're the one that broke my heart with this news. So you slice it up however you do. I'm gonna shut up. I'm shutting up.
Yeah, actually, Duncan, can you take over for just a second? I'm sorry, 2 seconds.
Yeah, no worries. I just get this article up there. One of the things I've picked up with, which could actually introduce a sort of bidding war, is that the people who are there, the exclusive streamers like Ninja and Shry, can now leave. That is big news because that could bring Google into the mix to start bidding for them. Just trying to find whereabouts Chase was. Mixer has been struggling to actually get some momentum, and I think the news over the last couple of days has actually brought things into focus. And the one recently there, I think, has just made it has brought this news forward. I think we're going to touch on that later.
I'm back, by the way. I'm sorry.
Okay,
I got into something. So Microsoft's choice to partner with Facebook is clearly a strategic one that also related to the broadening of the appeal of its upcoming Xcloud game streaming service and its overall gaming efforts. This is the key line, y'all. Microsoft will work closely with Facebook to bring Xcloud to Facebook gaming, allowing viewers to click and immediately play games that people are streaming. I want to read that quote again, or that piece again. Microsoft will work closely with Facebook to bring Xcloud to Facebook gaming, allowing viewers to click and immediately play games that people are streaming. It's a vision that's very similar to Google's ambitions with Stadia, but Mixer has lacked the scale and viewership to truly deliver this more broadly. And to basically cement this point that's in this article, Mixer, as far as the numbers over the past 3.5 to 4 months, and I think Duncan will touch on this, has actually been down as compared to the Facebook gaming, which has actually been up. YouTube gaming has also been up or YouTube streaming for games has also been up as far as viewership. And of course, Twitch has also been up. So Mixer has been the outlier that has not been high with viewership. They also mentioned in here, Microsoft recruited exclusive streamers like Ninja and Shroud with big deals, but they haven't been enough to get more people using the service over rivals. Ninja, Shroud, and other top streamers are now free to rejoin Twitch or stream on Facebook Gaming. So basically what that implies is that their contract has now been iced. They have the ability to go where they want to go. Microsoft faced a decision between ditching Mixer, selling an offer, even investing more money in it without a guarantee it would hit the scale that it needs. It wasn't as much about return on sale. It was about finding a partnership that was the best things for the community and streamers, explained Spencer. We think this is it, and it gives us a great place to launch more xCloud content and give gamers the ability to play from there. Y'all, they are going in with xCloud. They are going in.
Now, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, I was just going to read this last bit. Microsoft has talked about reaching 2 billion gamers with its vision for xCloud, but Mixer wasn't strong enough. Wasn't in a strong enough position to help achieve that goal. When we think about xCloud and the opportunity to unlock gameplay for 2 billion players, we know it's going to be critically important that our services find large audiences, and Facebook clearly gives us that opportunity, said Spencer.
Yeah, that's key. I want to show you guys something too, though, real quick, and then Duncan and Chase chime in at free will, because the people are not here for me. They could care less what I got to say, and I got to put my heart back in my chest. So this is a chart that shows comparably the market share as far as the streaming services are concerned between 2018 and 2019. Now, granted, the bulk is with Twitch with 70 plus percent. YouTube gaming is around 20 something percent. Mixer and Facebook gaming is around 3%. But then what you saw, I think there was another chart that showed that Facebook gaming had grown significantly between 2019 and 2020. This is an older chart that I'm looking at here. Where Mixer was like flat. You know what I'm saying? Mixer was real flat. So Facebook gaming is definitely, it's not where YouTube is, but they definitely decided that Mixer wasn't going to be it. And they're going to partner with Facebook for this stuff. And of course, I mean, I think it's fair to say that Facebook definitely is more potent than Mixer. Let's first and foremost focus on this Xcloud portion of it, though. I don't know who wants to grab at this first. But how big is what they're talking about they're going to do with Xcloud? What do y'all think about this? And why should people that are fans of Stadia, well, I don't want to say, why should Stadia be concerned about this? Who wants to grab at that first?
I'll let Duncan take that one.
It's exactly what we were saying it's exactly what Stadia's strategy is. You watch a video on Facebook. I'm not sure about you guys, but I'm on Facebook. Yes, I am on Facebook. There's a lot more streaming on it now. I'm getting bombarded with people streaming. You see a game you like, bang, you can play it. What's the bigger thing in this as well is what Xbox announced last week, I believe, which was Game Pass is going to be in Xcloud, or Xcloud's going to be in Game Pass. They're looking a way to bundle this going forward. And there's just so many permutations to this. It is unreal. Yeah. It's really, really, for me, if you take out Stadia perspective, it's actually really, really exciting. Stadia or gaming, it's just going to take off. It's going to be ubiquitous. You can play it anywhere, how you want, where you want. And the barriers for entry are just lowering all the time. A big thing with the Xcloud element of this, Xbox are targeting India as one of their key markets. And at this moment in time, Stadia is just in what I would call in the normal big areas in the US, Canada, UK, Ireland, places you can name. But Xcloud is trying to go everywhere, and tying it into Facebook is just massive, because how many people actually use Facebook or are on the platform just for bits and bobs, even though we don't like the platform. Everybody is on it. I know I'm on it a couple of times a day, just checking and scrolling. It's going to get so many eyeballs in this. It is unreal. It's really massive sort of news.
Yeah, absolutely. What are your thoughts, Chase? We
were talking about this before we went on live, MM, that I think this is a pretty big moment for Google, that they're going to have to
stump up.
I mean, this is a gut punch, y'all. I mean, this is what happens when competition comes in and steals the narrative. Microsoft has come in, and I have to be just honest with you all. This is going to steal the narrative. Mm-hmm. This is going to steal the narrative. The focus isn't going to be on Google right now.
Mm-hmm.
With this, I think I'm not comfortable talking about this, but I think it's the timing isn't against Stadia. The timing is because of all the stuff which is going on in the streaming market over the last couple of days. Well, what has came out about Mixer, about the possible racism which is going there, and with some of the other streaming narratives which are going on. I don't think this is a coincidence. This came out today. I think this has been in the works for a couple of weeks now, or even a month, that they're going to go on in with Facebook. And just the offense over the last couple of days is just say we have to do it now and just announce it.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah.
I was just going to add him, and I'm sorry, my points are all disjointed there, but they've got Stadia is basically they're at a moment where they got to make a decision here about what their trajectory is and what their business plan is. And I think, to your point, again, of what we talked about offline about Jack Buser and him being very forthright that this year was really a data collection year. I mean, he basically openly admitted it during that IGN interview that's kind of been their thought process, is they wanted to just focus on bringing in the gamers that were going to be interested in this tech, get the data from them, and enhance the service. But when your competition comes in and makes this type of a chess piece move, and let's be clear, this is a chess piece move, sometimes you got to adapt in the moment, and you got to be willing to adapt your business model in the moment. I'm curious to see what Google's going to do to this, because this would be a moment where I cannot imagine, to be fair, that they are not in their war room today, meaning Google, having a very robust conversation about what they're going to do next in regards to this. Because if this is what Microsoft is considering doing, they're basically taking one of the flagship features that YouTube was going to offer with Stadia, and they're basically saying, oh, well, you got that, so do we.
Mm-hmm.
So what's going to make Stadia different? What's going to separate them from the pack? And right now, when it comes to that feature, there's not really a whole lot, to be fair.
Yeah.
So that's something we're going to have to watch here.
Here goes another article too, courtesy of Duncan. He found this. This is their official letterhead on this whole situation from Phil Spencer. It's called "Bringing More Players into Our Gaming Vision." I'll just read a little bit of it and then get you guys' thoughts on it. It says, for us at Xbox, the players at the center of the gaming experience. It's always our responsibility to make great games. Blah 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 blah.
Whoa.
Oh, go ahead. What you catch?
Jen, do you have a link for that? Is that in the article and I missed that?
Uh-oh.
Do y'all see what he just said? Hold on.
I missed that as well. So if that's in there,
you guys see about Instagram, Xcloud integration? Oh gosh. You sure it's Instagram or Facebook?
Yeah, Jen, can you, if you have a link to this, can you drop it in the chat, or can you DM me through Discord the link to this article or to that news that you found, so that I can share it with MM and he can show it? Sorry, go ahead. Keep going. Sorry.
No, that's all right. Bringing that vision to life is more possible. We will see working with different partners. So this is a lot of fluff. Here's the parts that I wanted to focus on, because I just put in the thing that makes this big. And I get it, guys. A lot of you, I see you guys in the chat. A lot of you are saying this is not a big deal, but I'm going to let Chase and Duncan chime in on that, and then I'm going to explain to you why this is a big deal. Key to this vision is our Projekt Xcloud technology, which we see delivering games to all kinds of screens and windows in your life, including those on Facebook. Gaming is already part of our social fabric, and Projekt Xcloud can take you from discussing a new game, whether it's a funny in-game moment, blah, 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 blah. All right, so where did I see those numbers at? In the meantime, we'll continue to invest time and energy and resources to bring Projekt Xcloud to the global scale through Azure. But so transitioning the Mixer community is a key part of a broader effort that Xbox and Facebook Gaming are embarking on, bringing new experiences and opportunities to Facebook, where every month more than 700 million people play a game, watch a game video, or interact in a gaming group.
If this is the Xbox Wire article, it's in here. Just do Control F, type in Instagram, and it's on here.
Okay, the Xbox. Okay, Control F in Instagram.
There it is.
Yeah, that is right. Because no. That is right, because Facebook owns Instagram. That is correct. We're always testing new features and learning, and we're excited to explore further as we look to click to play scenarios within the Facebook gaming and Instagram community.
So that means that someone on Instagram could put a clip of their game on Instagram, MM. You could click on that within Instagram and launch the game.
Here's how I see it. Here's how I see it, Chase and Duncan, and I want to get you guys' thoughts on this. This is all coding. So Facebook and Instagram, like if you're on, I'm on Instagram with my MM2K, my MM2K moniker. I also have an MM2K moniker on Facebook. So it asks me all the time to join the two. I'm like, no, I'm not worried about it. But all it is coding at the GUI level, at the graphic user interface level. If you simply put in a tag like I don't know, Cyberpunk 2077. Check me out. Check out my new game click from @Cyberpunk 2077. If I click on that tag or that hashtag, it's going to lead me to a thing where it's basically going to say, do you want to play this game? Right. And because Xcloud is now on your phone, you can play it on your phone. And if not, it'll sign you up for Xcloud. Or if you're on your computer, it'll take you to the Xcloud equivalent that's going to be coming out sometime this year. Xcloud equivalent to what Google's doing. Now, what a lot of you, and I know I said I was going to turn, but I want to say this real quick because I don't want this to be lost with the people watching this because you guys think this is nothing. And I'm not saying this is Stadia's dead. I'm not saying that, but please do not get complacent. That's the worst thing you can do. I've already come from a community where the people got too complacent and everything. They was like, it doesn't matter. And then a few years later, they were being outsold 3-1. Trust me, I'm telling you from experience, do not get complacent. As a fanboy of Stadia or someone that likes the platform, do not do that. I'm telling you right now that even though Google Stadia is a better platform as far as gaming is concerned, as far as how it performs, there are more games on Xcloud. And right or wrong, that's why Xcloud is held more favorably. I'm not saying it's right. I'm just letting you know perception is 9/10 of the law. So you now have Instagram, which is uber popular. You have Facebook gaming groups, which we talk about this behind the scenes, Chase and Duncan. They're popular. Facebook in general might be full of the old people, but the gaming groups are popular. So if you take Facebook gaming, mix it with Instagram, and mix it with the fact that Xcloud has more games and it's more favorable, and if they get this rocking and rolling, this integration, if they get it rocking and rolling before Google gets this integration done, Google got some problems. So I just want to put that out there, and I want to get you guys' thoughts, not only on that, but this in general with Instagram, Facebook, all that, how this could work and all. Whatever you guys feel like you want to chime in on, go ahead.
I just want to make one wee quick point, and then I'll let Chase go, and I'll respond to Chase. It's not a coincidence that went after Facebook. It's just another big platform, and just remember, Microsoft they've got a minority stake in Facebook as well, which I think people forget about. They own 1% or 2% of Facebook as well, so they do have an interest in Facebook. So I just want to give that, just add a bit of that to it before Chase spoke.
I wholeheartedly agree with you. And again, to echo every bit of sentiment that you've said so far, that this is a massive. First of all, let me back up. This is a historical moment. So let's not lose sight of that. This is a historical moment for Xbox and for Xcloud, to be fair to them, whether you like them or not. That's just a fact. That's the truth. And secondly, this is a massive chess piece move. It's a massive one. You may not like Facebook integration. You may not like the layout of Facebook, but I can tell you that there are millions of users that do like it. And there are millions of users that are over there watching streamers' content through Facebook gaming. So they have just taken, probably, in my opinion, the third largest platform that exists on the planet when it comes to gaming, and they've just injected rocket fuel into it. Because every person that owns Xbox that wants to go see their favorite streamer, if they want to stream, where are they going to be through? They're going to be through Facebook. And if you don't think that Microsoft's already in the conversations with Ninja and who's the other one, Duncan? Is it Shroud?
Yeah. There's quite a number, but for me, they would be the two highest profile ones.
Yeah, listen, they had to legally say in their statement that they were free from the Mixer obligations because Mixer is going to be shut down. But if you don't think they're already in negotiations with them to try to get them over to Facebook, they are. They're going to do everything in their power to get them on that platform.
And Google, Stadia, YouTube should be all over that as well. They should be going after the one that they need to go after. If I was in their shoes, is Ninja. They need Ninja there just to to get people watching on YouTube. And then they would have Ninja and they would have PewDiePie. I know PewDiePie, controversial, but they're going to have the two ends of two extremes nearly of it. There's so many chess pieces here. I've just read as well here, they have not let anybody know. This news has just came out from the blue. So many of these streamers have not even been told this has happened, and they were just informed via a tweet. So,
well, this is what I imagine happened, and I want to get you guys' take on this, and then I got something that I want to add to the discussion too, because again, I don't think this has resonated and hit some people yet the way that it should. Again, there's no need to say it's over, but I think the best way to absorb this news, guys, as people within the Stadia community, is for us not to be complacent. Like the homie Generation Stadia puts it out there. He said, yeah, this is a big deal. Real talk. Instagram reach is massive, not to mention Facebook. All this means is Google needs to step up more than before. Exactly. That's all we're saying. That's all we're saying. But don't be complacent. Do not think, oh, this is just water under the bridge. No, because Jack Buser gave out a plan that was sounded a little bit more complacent. I'm not sure that even Google had a heads up on this. And a lot of times these Fortune 500 companies, they get wind of stuff. This was held tightly, but that's a whole nother subject matter we'll get into later. But what I want to get into is why this happened all of a sudden and why those people didn't know. What I think happened, I want to get you guys' thoughts on this, is that with the whole racist information that was coming out over the weekend, they just said, let's stop the bleeding. We already got this in the work. Mark, Mr. Zuckerberg, look, let's just let the people know. Can you cut us that favor? And they probably said, yeah. And they just went out and they said, let's stop the bleeding. We're ending Mixer right now. Anyway, it's already in the works. What do you guys think about that? I'm sorry, go ahead, Chase.
I actually have a question for you before I respond, MM. When was the Xbox event supposed to happen?
There's another one in July. So they were probably going to bring this up in July.
So this was accelerated. So I agree with you.
Exactly.
I agree with you 110%. This is a PR move. It's to try to stem the bleeding. It's to show that this is the action they're taking, because people were saying people needed to get fired over at Mixer. People needed to be let go for some of the reports that were coming out about not only racist behavior, but sexist behavior as well was being reported over there. Mm-hmm. So, that is something that absolutely probably played a massive part in this, and had them, again, I know I'm talking in circles. I'm doing 5 different things over here. Probably had them, again, accelerate their plans more quickly than they had anticipated they were going to do, based off of, the environment and the different pressures that were coming from both social media, from the news outlets. And again, to be fair, rightfully so. If these reports are true, they needed to take action based off of what was being reported. Mm-hmm. I don't think that there's any argument on that. This is, I think, beyond what anyone would have expected was going to be that action, that this is what their answer is to it. So this is very interesting. And it's also, one thing that we're going to have to watch on this one, y'all, and I got to be quite frank with you, is one, watch the stock markets today. Let's see what happens with Microsoft shares. Let's see what happens with Facebook shares. They're probably going to go through the roof off of this news. Secondly, how many of the Microsoft employees that were embedded with Mixer that are ones that, are outside of this, outside of these reports, that are not the parties that were the ones, causing or taking the actions that were reported. How many of those people are going to be over at Facebook, and are they going to have a cross relationship? And I don't know if that makes sense what I'm getting at, but you could see Microsoft employees embedded in Facebook and vice versa, Facebook employees embedded at Microsoft, because they need that cross relationship to be able to ensure that the platform is running smoothly across.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. So
if that happens, you may even see larger moves happen, because once they start getting comfortable with doing this type of a move, you remember we heard those rumors, MM, about how Facebook wanted to open up their own cloud gaming interface, and they wanted to kind of jump into this space.
Yep.
They may just say, you know what, we're not even going to worry about.
This is it. This is it. Look. Go ahead.
Go ahead. I think we're about to say the same thing. I think that their eggs are in a basket on this one. We'll cut you the check. You do the heavy lifting. We'll reap the benefit.
Look, here's what, again, I love you guys. I love you. I love you out here. I am Google is excited that you guys are so confident in them despite this. And again, I'm not saying that I'm not confident in them. I'm just saying what Generation Stadia summed it up perfectly. It just means they got to step up. Here's what you're not realizing. Google may be the richest company in the world, but now you got 2 of the top 10 richest companies in the world combining their financial power here together to do this. And with Microsoft, and even though as the gamer side of me, I'll kick Phil Spencer's ribs in all day. I don't like their shit. I don't like their shit, man. I don't. But the business side of me says that the thing that Microsoft, Satya Nadella, and Phil Spencer is doing is very, very sly, and we don't want to be too dismissive of it. They are making strategic partnerships that are going to make this very challenging for Google and Amazon, even though Google and Amazon's tech might be better. All of them, yeah. Even though their tech might. First and foremost, let me tell you the first thing that they did that a lot of people overlooked. Their partnership with PlayStation was huge. Why was it huge? Because Stadia was gearing. Look, Stadia right now is already a kind of like a third-party platform. Y'all heard via Stadia Cast, and we've talked about it on our channels, Chase and Duncan, that people now via COVID-19 are using Stadia to develop and further develop games that aren't even slotted to come to the platform right now because of its cloud frictionless infrastructure. Stadia was built from the ground up to be that open and that welcoming to other platforms. Can you imagine if you worked at Microsoft and you heard that PlayStation was partnering with Google instead of them? So in Microsoft's mind, that partnership was more key to help because the Stadia tech, as far as gaming is concerned, is already light years ahead of Microsoft. So they had to cut that at the pass, and they did that, and kudos to them. Now they're partnering with Facebook on the streaming side, and now they have Facebook's war chest kind of like at their disposal, where they ain't got to do this all on their own. And another thing that Facebook has at their disposal is VR gaming. So while they're developing the whole cloud aspect, they could be working with Facebook via the VR technology that they have patent to be bringing VR gaming to the whole cloud space. Something that we don't even know if Google has even started. Well, they probably have started, but we don't even know how far Google would be in that aspect yet. But we know Facebook is far in it. So you guys got to understand that these strategic partnerships, I mean, Microsoft themselves, they're deadly alone with their money. They battle back and forth with Google. But now they're making these strategic partnerships to where not only do they have their money, but they got the money of their partners as well. So don't sleep on this. I'm not saying a game is over. Hell no. But I'm saying Google got to step it up. Jack Buser at the IGN interview, I love that interview, but his response was kind of like a complacent one. Oh, this year we're just trying to fill things out. At the helm of this news, they just got to churn things up. They got to up the timeline a little bit, and they got to work a little bit faster. Duncan, do you have any thoughts on that, or Chase? Anybody want to pick that up?
Yeah, there's so many things. Even when we're just sitting here talking, there's actually more layers onto this. Just as you brought up, who does Facebook own? They own Oculus. Well, could we see something there? Could we see part of this deal that Oculus has to go on the Xbox as well? The next Xbox, which has been long talked about. There is just so many things you could just sit and look at. Oh, sorry.
No, go ahead, Duncan. I have two thoughts I want to throw in, but I don't want to.
Oh, no worries. There's just Google's problem here now is, as you said, two of the biggest companies are going to be joining at the hip to go after streaming now. game streaming, and they're out on their own, more or less now, and there is no, there doesn't seem to be any joined up thinking between all the different divisions. This is now a race, and do they need to announce something before the Connect? The calm people down, even chuck out one of the re-features that they were going to announce there, even if it's just plain eye feature on the YouTube videos or anything? Do you think that they need to do anything as a reaction to this, or do you think just sit and wait for another month until the Connect?
Yeah.
Go ahead, Chase.
So I have three things now, because now I have another comment I want to address on here. But Rick said, we on YouTube, we ain't on Facebook talking about games. It's a good move, but it's a little fractured until all parts combine. I don't see it yet. Rick, the Facebook gaming may not be big in the United States, but I will tell you in the rest of the world, it's year on year. And I think Jen actually said this in one of his comments. They have the highest growth percentage than any other platform right now.
Yeah.
It's not even close.
Cheers, can I just add into that? It's just something that I mentioned earlier as well. It's in the Far East Asian areas. Facebook gaming is massive. Like in India, where there's now a strategic partnership between Microsoft and one of their telecom people out there to bring Xcloud to the wider Indian market. Just to help your point there.
Yeah, and to the other part of Facebook and Microsoft partnering in this way, it's exactly what Duncan said. Google's on an island right now by themselves. You've got Facebook, which has got, you talk about two companies that have the most data on everyone on the planet. It's Google and Facebook. They have the most data. Microsoft, this is the other reason why they partnered with them. If you think it's just because of that, it ain't just that. It's data. They want data. They want to know where people are at, what they're playing, what their interests are, how they're going to be able to integrate this to get people interested. And then what's even bigger, is they don't talk about the consoles in this article. Not once, What do they keep talking about? Xcloud. You know what's going on? Microsoft's already pivoting. They're already ready. As soon as they drop this Series X on everybody, they're already 3 steps ahead of the game. They're like, yep, here's the physical. We're gone. Y'all have fun with that. We're already working on how we're going to get this into frictionless gaming, because that's going to be where the next move is in a year, 2 years. I'm serious, y'all. That this whole thing with this physical platform, you know why? Again, we got to go back in time. Why did Phil Spencer say what he said about Amazon and Google? And why did he make that comment at that time? It wasn't because he was worried necessarily, I think, in the context that we thought he was worried. He was looking at the current landscape. And as much as we, like you said, we don't necessarily agree with some of his moves, how he acts, there's one thing that is certain. He pivots like nobody pivots in the world when it comes to gaming. And he already started pivoting at the moment that they saw this pandemic coming. They knew that they were going to have to make moves quicker than they thought they were going to have to make them. All of this is chess piece moves, y'all. 110%. And I think the only other comment I wanted to address was with Revs. He said, I'm just wondering how they have to step up. I don't think they need to rush anything. They aren't in reaction mode. They have made the market react to them. And I'll have to disagree here. This wasn't a reactionary move. Oh, no. Don't get it twisted. This was walking into the room and stealing the carcass is what this move was. This isn't a reaction. This is a flex. Reactions are when somebody come in and do something small to try to capture the narrative when they don't have anything to lay out on the table. This was I'm walking into the room. You've got 4 pieces of whatever it is, of the antelope or whatever, animal you want to use in this. And we're taking everything.
Yeah.
We're taking everything. This wasn't a reaction. This was a statement today. Just like Google made a statement back on their Connect and back when they released the platform the way that they did.
Yep. When they released the quote unquote base. Yeah, that was a flex, Yeah.
It was a statement, And this is a statement. And this is going to have massive ripples for weeks to come. Yeah.
Like you said, we examined this earlier.
Can I make a quick point? Thanks for the tip. It is being reported by Slasher, who he's got 200,000 followers. Just getting the direct quote what he is saying, and he is quoting sources. Facebook are offering Ninja and Stride a hell of a lot of money, nearly double their original Mixer contract.
I told y'all. What did I just say?
What did I just say? We just said that they have access to both war chests now. So now they got. So Microsoft puts up half, Facebook puts up half. I mean, this is not rocket science. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Chase. I'm sorry.
I'm just going to tell you the figures here, so we're not talking chicken feed here. Ninja's price, apparently, or the contract he has been offered, is $30 million.
Jesus Christ.
And
Jesus!
And Stride has been offered $10 million.
You guys ain't getting it.
Again,
you guys ain't getting it. They ain't getting it. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Duncan.
Sorry. YouTube should be all over this. But again, I am just worried they're not working together in the whole of Google. They're in their silos, and people aren't talking to each other. YouTube and Stadia need to be on the same page going forward now, and they need to be on them to right now and contact them before it's too late.
Mm-hmm.
Well, somebody in the chat is saying that they're hearing that Ninja ignored the deal. Where? So again, is this, Duncan? Are you seeing these same things in these same places that we're getting in the chat?
I can send you the link to the one I have found, but I'll try and find that other one as well.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm sorry to be so excitable, but I mean, I really need. You guys don't have to agree with us, but when you guys are being dismissive of this, it makes me sad inside. It makes me sad inside because again, I said this earlier on my ESO stream that I did on YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
We're Duncan, Chase, and we're trying to give you the Fortune 500 side of this. It's not that Facebook gaming, the state of Facebook gaming now is fantastic, and the state of Xcloud now is fantastic. They're not fantastic if you take them separately and compare them against YouTube and Xcloud, and Stadia separately. But now you're taking two of the richest companies in the world and you're combining them together against one company. So now they have viably doubled their resources. Duncan just read off to you how they pretty much double what was offered to Shroud and Ninja. That's just for streamers. Can you imagine what they're going to be able to do as far as the tech, combining the tech that they have, combining the outreach that they have on their successful platforms? Don't forget, Facebook owns Instagram. And I just want to highlight one other thing because Homie Generation Stadia is tearing it up here. He's echoing what I said earlier. I think another thing worth bringing up is that Microsoft is also working together with Sony on top of all this. I do believe everyone had to react quick to Google. This is a big response. Again, Microsoft isn't exhausting their entire war chest. They're making strategic partnerships with people that already have success in their own realm. Again, Facebook gaming may not be the biggest thing in North America, but it was illustrated how it's bigger in places across the world. India is going to play a big role in this. And then Facebook gaming is big where in India. You know what I'm saying? You guys got to understand that this is not small fries. Is Stadia done? Hell no. But they're going to have to churn some things up. And again, to comment to my good brother Rev, who said this is not a referendum on Stadia, I don't think you're looking at this through the right prism. This is not about referendums. This is competition. Whether you're doing great or not, whenever your competitor moves a chess piece, you better be able to react or it will become a referendum. Okay? We got to understand how massive this is. It's all encompassing on these two companies to work together fluidly to make this a success. But this is nothing to sneeze at. Do not look at the state of Xcloud now. Do not look at the state of Facebook gaming now. These are two of the richest companies in the world combining their war chest. They showed you how big they can stomp just by what they're offering these streamers now. Okay, so just so we're putting this in the proper perspective. I shut up now. I'm sorry. Who was talking? I'm sorry before I interrupted.
No, I put something in the chat, MM, or in the private chat, MM. If you want to just allude to that real quick, I'll let you tackle it because I think you already heading in that direction.
Is it the link or the last comment?
The 2 comments I put in there.
Okay. Oh yeah. I mean, first and foremost. Well, no, go ahead, Chase. You can elaborate on that. Go ahead, because those are 2 great points.
So basically, what I was saying is that Stadia has been positioning themselves over the past, few months. It appears to start then integrating into other markets. That timeline may now have to accelerate because if they don't get into the Asian markets and the Middle Eastern markets, again, heavily into like India, for example, like you were mentioning, MM, that's going to become an issue because it all comes down to getting the mind share before the other company has the ability to do what? To get the mind share. This is almost now turned into a space race, y'all. This is almost turned in now to a space race.
Yes, yeah, that's a great way to put it.
And I don't want to. I agree with some of the points in here that Stadia should not rush. I think that's an adequate and accurate statement.
Absolutely.
But I also think you can't take your time.
You can't take your time. You can't be complacent.
You can have a brisk pace in how you decide to go forward with things. And I think at this moment, if you didn't already have the afterburners on DEFCON 2, you might want to go ahead and fire that extra, a bit of rocket fuel up because you've got so many, like Jen said, you got 3 companies now, Facebook, Sony, and Microsoft, that have said, you ain't coming in here and doing this.
Yeah.
And Facebook, to be fair to them, they weren't even in this space in console gaming per se. They were gaming, but they weren't in this space. And now they've jumped into the race with all the data that they have. That's almost as close to Google's data that they acquire from people around the world. Man, this is a historical day, man. It really is, and that's not trying to put it lightly. Yeah. I think Duncan was going to say something, MM, and I cut him off.
Yeah, I just Alakazam again. We're not saying that Facebook and Xbox are going to destroy Google. That's not what we're saying. What we're saying is we're seeing some alarming things in the chat. You guys are looking at the state of Xcloud. You're looking at the state of Facebook right now, and you're saying, "Oh, these 2 lunkheads get together. Nothing's going to happen." That is that is dangerous thinking. Do not think like that. They have now integrated their 2 war chests, their 2 technologies, and wherever they fall short at, they now have a business partner that can help them where they fall short because that's their strong suit. That's why they made the strategic partnerships. So we're just saying, do not think in the danger zone. I'm sorry, Duncan. Go ahead, my friend. My fault, buddy.
I was just going to mention, some people are mentioning who should to go after, who should team up with them, and some people are saying Sony. Microsoft's already there. They're already teamed up. Mm-hmm. So PlayStation is ruled out here. Nintendo is a law unto themselves, and you don't know what's going to happen. But they also seem to have a good, close working relationship with Microsoft as well. So Stadia need to go out there and start making some sort of moves to partner with people. I
just saw what you sent, man. I don't agree with that.
Yeah.
That is a very, 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 very sarcastic and also very, what's the term? A very arrogant stance that I think is very dangerous for this person to be saying. And this person, am I incorrect in seeing, Duncan, that this person actually works for said company?
That person who I just put in the tweet title is Creative Director at Google Stadia.
Yeah, no, sorry.
Okay, let me put this up. I gotta see. I didn't even see this.
This is I'm just gonna call it like I see it, y'all. You can agree with me, you can disagree with me, but I'm gonna give it to you straight from a PR and marketing lens. This is the most arrogant, stupid statement to be putting out on the internet in this context.
See if I can find. Is it the tweet, Duncan?
Yeah. Especially when you consider what happened after the move that he's talking about. So while it may have been a money flush on the front end,
this is stupid. Oh dear
while
Lord.
it may have been a money flush on the front end, you got to look at the back end of what's happening here. This is arrogance personified, and this is not.
Oh my God!
Not a smart statement.
My God, what?
I'm sorry, y'all. I'm just telling you how I see it. This is not a smart statement. Now, if he had said, "Hey, it was a money flush. Now they're moving into this," this is something that, in our opinion, we have advantages that they don't have. Okay, fine, you can believe that, but to just outright basically say,
"Oh my God."
This is a very arrogant statement to be making. I'm shocked.
Look,
sorry, y'all. I can't swing it any other way.
Can I look? Jesus Christ! Jesus! Look, Google. Alex Hutchinson. I normally don't address the Google staff. Because I got so much respect for you guys. I don't address you directly, but I'm going to address you, Alex, directly. Right now, in the lifehood of Stadia, even when people are being positive about you, like in that IGN interview, everybody starts off by saying, you know what? You guys may have not had the inception that you may have wanted, but how do you guys plan to turn things around? Nobody's saying that about Xcloud. Nobody's saying that about Facebook gaming. Now we, the 5%, the hardcore gamers, we know that Xcloud technology-wise can't compete, as far as performance with Stadia. And then we know Facebook gaming is nowhere as good as YouTube. But we are the 5%. The 95% that dictate success financially, they hear more about Google Stadia not being good than they hear about Xcloud not performing technically up to par.
Yep.
Alex, your focus should be on getting Stadia's name out the gutter, because it belongs out the gutter, before you consider anything dead. This is the moniker that they throw at Stadia all the time. You should know better than be talking reckless like this. This was stupid. This was absolutely stupid. And I'm wondering, we're talking about Xbox throwing away money at Mixer. They're throwing away money at people that say stupid stuff like this. This was dumb. This is dumb. Google, get it together. I'm sorry. I said it, Chase. I had to say it. Okay, you guys go ahead and follow up. I'm sorry.
No, but I mean, look, this was the person that I think had worked previously. This is the guy that they brought in that had worked on Journey to Savage Planet, Far Cry. He's got a impressive pedigree. And Antonio mentioned in the chat that, look, some of these people say things on their Twitters and their thoughts are their own. And that's fine. And if he said controversial things before, that's fine. But this is a comment that is being made about their direct competition.
Yeah, no.
We're not talking about a worldview. We're not talking about a piece of technology that's not related, maybe something on a game that might be coming up that excites or doesn't excite the individual. That's their personal preference, right? Because I'm sure Alex is a gamer. But this is a comment, y'all, that is being levied at their direct competition. And it's arrogant. And it's absolutely arrogant to be thinking like this. Because like MM has just shared, they're not in a position to be talking like this.
Mm-mm.
That's the problem. I'm sorry, Duncan. Go ahead.
Go ahead, Duncan.
I can see this is a complete joke. It is a joke. He's trying to be funny, but now was not the time to do it.
It was extremely tasteless. Go ahead, Duncan.
That is what I was going to say. We have just found out about 120 people have lost their jobs at Mixer, probably in and around that. And then we've got the amount of people who have actually been relying on Mixer's income. They use Mixer as a living. They're now, don't know where they're going to go. On top of that, you've also got the business thing. You've got, he works at Google. I know this is a personal account, and I am all for free speech, and they should be doing it. If he said this in a couple of days' time when things were a bit calmer, yeah, it might be a bit better. It's just really annoying more than anything.
It speaks to the atmosphere that's going on over there, and that's all I'm trying to get at. Is that this is that Silicon Valley in a bubble mindset that I've talked about before, and you cannot come into this space acting like this, because here's what's going to happen. And look, I'm going to keep it a buck with y'all. If for some reason Google gets completely beaten to the gate with some of these things, and you make this type of a comment out in the open, how does that look?
Here's something.
How does that look going back? You know what I mean? Like,
what about you're trying to get people onto the platform? They're going to be looking some of these people from Mixer to come to YouTube, and they're going to be wanting people to come to Stadia and to get comments like this.
But then do that bit of business behind closed doors. Let your acquisitions do the talking. You don't need to. You don't have any weight in this industry right now to be throwing around these kind of comments. That's my point. You let the acquisition speak. If they brought in Ninja tomorrow, let's just say that happened, and Duncan. Don't you think that speaks louder than this comment right here?
Yeah. Yep.
Here's my point.
Here's what I want to address. And again, we try to do things here on this channel, on Chase's channel, and I don't want to speak for Chase, but he's a good friend, and I think I have a decent feel for what he tries to do on his channel. And maybe we have failed you. Maybe me and Chase got to go back to the drawing board and figure it out again, because it's not sinking in. I don't care if this is a social media platform. This guy, let me make this bigger for you guys, in case you don't see it. Oh, whoops, I made the wrong thing bigger. Listen, do you see that blue check mark? He doesn't have a blue check mark next to his name because it's Alex. He has a blue check mark. Why? Because he works for Google Stadia. I don't care where you are. Whenever you are part of a Fortune 500 company and you're an exec, whenever you're in a public facing area, you always represent that company. Let me give you a prime example. Y'all know why y'all don't see my face right now? Not because it's so damn pretty, not just that, but because I'm under NDA, because the company, the Fortune 500 company that I work with, we work with governmental contracts and things like that. And I had to sign something that says in a public facing venue, I have two choices. I either go to them and get their approval, or I don't show my face publicly. I decided to go with the latter because I don't want to go through HR and all this other stuff. And then there's some other things with that as well. So when you are at Alex's level, you are always representing the company. Give you a prime example. Let's just say the head of Pepsi is at his son's baseball game. There's a Coca-Cola machine there. He's thirsty. He goes to the Coca-Cola machine and grabs him a Coke, and he's drinking the Coke. Somebody walks up to him with a camera phone and says, "Hey, you're the CEO of Pepsi. What the hell are you doing drinking that Coke?" He or she cannot say, "You know what? Leave me alone. I'm at my son's baseball game. I can drink whatever I want." Once that goes viral, guess what happens? That CEO is gone. Okay? Do not let this fact that it's the social media platform make you believe in your heart of hearts that business execs are exempt to do and say whatever they want. Because they're recognized, because he got a blue check mark, because of that recognition and his association with that company, he always represents that company, even in public venues. He should know better than that, and he shouldn't have done that. And hopefully he removes that tweet as soon as possible. I'm sorry, I just had to put that out there.
Yeah, I think Duncan's got to roll for a minute. Duncan, take it, brother.
No, I'm not going to roll. All I'm going to say is normally during these times when there's a massive layoff in Silicon Valley, anywhere else, the tweets will come out or we're really just disappointed to hear this news. Please check Google Stadia for job listings, and we'll try and help you, or YouTube or something like that along these lines. The thing is that we do want Google to communicate a bit more and have a bit more public facing. Yes, but sometimes you have to be a bit smarter on how the things are said and done. I think he may have forgot that he actually works for Stadia now instead of the other software company where he was working before in Typhoon Studios, wasn't it? My head's like a sieve. It's just maybe this will be a learning curve for him where he actually realizes, no, I can't actually say that sort of thing. It can't be a jokey sort of thing for when you're actually in a rival company now. You're not just a separate entity just making games. He is a creative director at Stadia now, and he shouldn't really be making those sort of jokes.
Yeah, and look, I don't have any. Somebody said in here, do you think he's going to get fired? I don't want the guy to get fired. I'm not going to that level with this. No. I'm just trying to say, you let your actions do the talking. You let your acquisitions do the talking. You don't need to come out and act arrogant on a social media platform. Yeah. That only just makes you look like you're tone deaf and you don't know what's going on around you when you already have a public perception issue to begin with. That's what I'm getting at. This isn't rocket science. Yeah. And to Chuck's point, real quick, Chuck said, people are getting fired, closing down, streamers getting let go. They're not stronger. You're crazy if you believe they are. I think you need to look at what the chess piece moves are here, Chuck, to be fair, my friend, with all due respect. Mixer getting shut down is only one part of this story. What they're picking up out of the ashes of that move, however you choose to look at it, is far more lucrative and far more important to their business model than the Mixer move ever was. They're going to make back their money tenfold, Chucks. Tenfold off of this move.
Yeah, I get it. I to be honest, I'm going to be pretty honest here, because that's where I come from. I come from the gamer in me and the fanboy, if you want to call me a fanboy, I can see where the joke is coming from, and I can see a couple of people in chat here saying that they pretty like what he was doing. Yes, if someone else made that comment at maybe a different time, a different avenue, yeah, absolutely, yes, I can get that, and we've got when everything's all cleared down. But it's actually, what would happen? I'm just throwing this out here. We mention them all the time because we say when the Stadia needs one. If Aaron Greenberg made that sort of comment, what would happen?
Oh, it'd be a friggin' disaster, and that's my point.
Exactly.
That's what I'm getting at, y'all. I think that's the point that's being missed on this. Is I don't care what the man's personal views are on things, but when you make a comment that's directly related to a business that's part of your business competition, you can't act like you're tone deaf. You can't. And to go back to my previous point about what I was addressing in regards to Chuck's point, I'm not celebrating or happy or thinking that somehow this is something positive overall out of this move for them. No, we just found out 120 employees are getting cut from Mixer. That ain't great. That's not happy. Mixer was dealing with, systemic, from reports that there was systemic racism going on and sexism going on in that building. That's not great. That's nothing to be celebrating. But again, out of all of those things that are the drawbacks, you cannot undersell or understate the moves that they're making as it goes to Facebook. What is Facebook? Facebook is the second largest company in the world for what? Data. What do you think that matters when it comes to data? Knowing what people's purchasing preferences are, what their habits are, what their viewing habits are. Tackle that with Facebook gaming year on year has been the largest growing platform to date, even during this pandemic. Couple that with they just offered Ninja and Shroud by reports double their freaking offer they would have made at Mixer, which would mean that Ninja just got offered $60 million. So you can't sit there and say that these things aren't important. If you go and you read this article, they want to do what? Game integration, where you click on an Instagram post or a Facebook video and you get drawn into the same game that the streamer you're watching is playing. What does that sound like? That sounds like Stadia. So these are massive chess piece moves. And again, this is looking at this 2-3 years out ahead, not in the moment, not in the now.
Yeah. I want to show people again. I don't Chase. I think we got to go back to the drawing board. And again, I'm not trying to be facetious, group. Again, I'm not saying that Stadia is over. I'm not saying that Stadia is dead. I'm not saying that Microsoft will now be the kings of the cloud. We're trying to tackle the dangerous sentiment that this is not a big deal. Can I show you guys something? Because we come at this from a gaming lens. Hold on. What the hell did I do? We come at this from a business lens. Look at Microsoft stock. They're up 5 points today, 2.78%. That's nothing to, if you don't know if that's a big deal or not, look it up. But in the financial world, that's nothing to sneeze at. I can guarantee you this is solely off of that announcement with Facebook.
No, that's facts.
Yeah. So this is not something to sneeze at again, because their war chest has now significantly grown. There was technology on the Facebook side that maybe Microsoft was lacking, and vice versa, that now they'll be able to strategically combine for them to be a bigger threat. Anything that's a bigger threat is bigger news. It's big news. So again, we're trying to show you the business lens, because that's what fuels everything. And again, if you guys were under the moniker of, hey, I still think Stadia has a strategic edge, fine. But to say that this is not big news, this is something to sneeze at, there's nothing factually based that underlines those comments. And I just want the unsuspecting gamer to know that, again, if you see that, go to the markets. I'm showing you right now. The market is showing you right now. This is nothing to sneeze at. I'm sorry. Go ahead and continue. My apologies.
I don't. Oh, go ahead, Duncan.
I was just going to say what I've discovered here as well. Sources familiar with the deal have informed me that while Facebook did try and negotiate to keep their big partners, both Shroud and Ninja, opted out, they have received their full payments, and as of midnight yesterday, were free to engage in talks with other platforms. Game on is a tweet from Richard Lewis. And which is being used in the IGN article. Just some more and that sort of thing.
So yeah, I mean, and that's big, because like Duncan said earlier, to be fair and come down the middle on this, that's big, because if in lieu of all this, even though there's that strategic partnership that makes what Microsoft is trying to do a lot stronger, and again, the markets are reacting to it. We're showing it to you. So again, let's not go off our emotion. I know I'm yelling and screaming in my pop filter, and it sounds like this is all emotion. No, we're basing this off of the market, off of the business trends, off of fact. Look at this. They're going up. They were just trending down. They're going up. They were just trending down. Let's go back to Microsoft. They were kind of trending down right now. Now look at that. Look at that angle of that curve. Now they're trending up. Look at that. Look at you guys are watching this real time. Okay. Go ahead, Chase. I'm sorry.
It is a big move, and if you choose to say that you don't think that it is, then that's your opinion. If you don't want to look at it that way, that's your opinion. I'm not going to tell anyone here how they need to view or they need to look at something. I always come at things from the respectful discourse lens. But I will say at the end of the day, if you want to be complacent on this, and I'm not saying that everyone in this chat that's what their mindset is, but if that's where you're coming from on this, I will just say it as plainly as I can in this vein. If you're not willing to, if you're willing to accept mediocrity, I've said this in a previous video, if you remember MM, and when the competition rolls in and takes all the presents out from under the tree, and you're left with nothing left, you don't want to be that person that looks back and says, hey, could I have said something, or could I have done something? And you're in a moment right now where you're in a competition phase. What is happening around us is I don't think these are reactionary moves. I think the Google move wasn't a reactionary move.
Mhm.
This wasn't a reaction. This is a flex. This is them coming in and saying, we're going to take the narrative from all y'all. Now what? Now what are you going to say? This is going to dominate the next 4 weeks.
Mhm.
I hate to say this, but if they don't do something in the Connect that's big, that's going to be a blip on the radar screen with this news.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And again, listen, I know these are cold, hard things that I'm saying, but I'm just keeping it real with y'all from the PR world and the marketing world. And quite frankly, with the general consumer.
Yeah. Do you think that we're going to have something before the Connect? I think we got sidetracked in that.
Listen,
I know.
tend
The
to-
Connect is. Yeah.
No, go ahead, Emma.
I was going to say, yeah, the Connect is a while away. I don't think this is DEFCON 5. I get that. And none of us on this panel are saying that. I don't think it's DEFCON 5, Duncan, but I'm leaning towards what Chase is saying. When you do have that Connect, you pronounce some heavy hitting stuff in the cloud realm. You know what I'm saying? But what you don't do is you don't make comments like what you probably put a comment out there, that, hey, we see the strategic partnerships that they're making. However, we're confident that, we still have the edge because of blah, 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 this and that. And you don't panic. You strut your stuff and you show that you're confident. But you don't do what Alex Hutchinson did. You don't do that. That has to be removed. And I'm sorry that I yelled like that and was really dismayed at that. But again, I'm starting to see complacency here that's giving me PTSD from my Xbox days. And I'm telling you from experience, do not get complacent. It's the same thing I see with Xbox. But no, I don't think they need to do something immediate, Duncan. I don't know how Chase feels. We can, he can elaborate on that. But I just think that they come out with a regular statement and they make sure they got something heavy hitting on the cloud realm when they do their Connect.
Could you have a wee quick look at the private chat there as well? But yeah, what do you think?
Oh, my bad. Hold on. I'm sorry, Eddie.
What's up, guys?
How long have you been waiting, my friend? I'm sorry, man.
No, not that much. Thanks, Duncan, for calling me in, but it was maybe 3 minutes.
Okay.
So I take 1 day off and hell's break loose. Is that it?
Yes, sir. Go ahead, shoot, Eddie. What are your thoughts on all this? Shoot.
So I couldn't hear everything you guys said. I just saw the news and I was doing some reading. And
sorry, Eddie, can I just interrupt there for 1 wee second?
Absolutely.
We have now more Facebook news. They have just bought Ready at Dawn, but that's going to be more. They have just bought them and they have been acquired by Oculus Stroke Facebook. It's going to be probably more for the VR, but there is another studio which has been snapped up. Sorry, Eddie.
Oh my goodness.
Problem, Duncan, can you send here on private chat or maybe on the comments the name of the studio again?
Ready at Dawn.
Ready at Dawn.
Which games did they make? Does anybody know?
Yeah, I'm gonna put it up here now. They made yep, you guys should be able to see it right now.
Okay.
Games. Yeah, they're really VR focused.
It used to be part of Blizzard. Weren't they at one point, or one of the two, Naughty Dog or Blizzard?
The big game of this last generation, what most people would have heard of, it's the Order 1880, whatever.
1886. Yeah, 1886, yeah. But they've contributed. So yeah, I mean they're serious. I mean they're making acquisitions. You know what I'm saying? And again, to speak to that VR front, Eddie, what we were saying on the panel, we don't know where you're coming from, but definitely let us know that we don't think that Microsoft now has the edge. We just think that this was a strong partnership because now they have two big war chests on their, at their disposal, and wherever each entity alone fell short, they now complement each other. Particularly with this purchase of Ready at Dawn, now Microsoft has VR at its disposal when it really wasn't feasible for them next gen. But those are our thoughts. What are your thoughts on this, Eddie?
So I don't want to tackle VR right now because that's a whole separate discussion, especially because Facebook has been strong on VR for a while and has been strong on VR on the back scenes. I have a friend who works on Facebook, and since the Oculus acquisition, they have been putting stuff together. But again, I'm not going to talk about VR right now.
Mm-hmm.
On the deal that I just ended up finding out. So here's one thing. I wouldn't be worried as Stadia at all about this thing. As YouTube, I may think, okay, now I would have a feature that will only be available on my platform. Now other platforms are thinking of implementing this feature, which the case of the being able to click a link and go play on Xcloud. So that is my take on that feature. But I guess the most impactful with this is still Twitch and YouTube live streamings. And I'll explain why. Facebook gaming, it's tremendously huge outside North America.
Mm-hmm.
It's the number 2 platform in South America at all. Mm-hmm. And it's number 2 platform in Asia as well, with Twitch. Once again, I'm talking about live streaming, okay? Facebook gaming. Yep. Twitch is number 1 reigning king. And in some countries, as US and Canada, for example, Twitch was number 1 and YouTube gaming is number 2. Facebook gaming still has a small presence. Now, with this news, we already know that Ninja and Shroud, one of the 2 biggest names of streamers, they already opted out for Facebook gaming. They're saying, thank you for the invitation, but since we have a free contract, we're not going to go Facebook gaming. They're probably going to see something else, maybe a D-Live or, well, there are tons of other small platforms on live streamings. Mm-hmm. But thinking on how this impacts Stadia, it doesn't. And I disagree with you guys when you're saying they got to give a shout out at this at the Connect. No, I don't think they should, because Connect should be a time for them to shine and not to talk about the competition.
Well, no. I don't. Let me be very clear, Eddie, and maybe it came across the wrong way. And I don't know if somebody else said that, but I never said they needed to address this at the Connect.
Oh, no. Exactly. No.
What I said was the Connect would be overshadowed by this news, is what I said.
Oh, okay.
Which I think is absolutely going to be the case. And I think on the other point, from a long-term business strategic standpoint, oh yeah, this absolutely is something Stadia's got to be mindful of. That there's no question. If Facebook gaming ends up taking off at any point in North America, they're in serious trouble. Mm-hmm. They're in serious trouble when it comes to how they have to go forward with tackling and marketing the platform overall. In the rest of the world, it's already one of the larger platforms, which is exactly what you were just talking about. So that's why you're dealing with a space race here, because if Xcloud gets into markets like the Asian markets and into a market like India, and they get the mind share before Stadia ever gets there, that's not good. That's going to create serious ramifications for them. Now, look, again, I'm not going to tell Google how to run their business, but I'm just telling you from 100,000 feet, from just business and from a perception standpoint, this is not great news for them today. And I guarantee you they are in a room today talking about how the hell are we going to deal with this in the next couple of weeks, in the next few months. Now, ultimately, they may say, you know what, we're not going to do anything. We're just going to sit back. We'll just keep doing what we're going to do, and we'll see where the chips, where the chips fall in regards to this. Do I think that's the right strategy? Personally, no. Will they prove us wrong of whatever they're doing? Time will tell. But this is not insignificant news. And I think that's where if I'm looking at it from, again, the perspective that I'm looking at it from, I can't follow that line of thinking or that lane because of the way that Microsoft came in today. They came in, Eddie, if this was an MMA fight and we're talking about trying to think of, hold on one second. If you're talking about, what was one that we just watched recently? Cody Garbrandt, right? That we watched that most recent fight where he did the Hadouken. You know what I'm talking about?
Right.
Yeah. So you had them come in today and throw a Hadouken. Now, people in here can in the chat, the community can decide whether or not they felt that it landed or not. That's fine. But at the end of the day, it's a Hadouken. It is what it is. They threw a purposeful shot today, not as a reactionary move. This was absolutely, we're walking into the room, and as Germani would say, laying everything out on the table, if you catch my drift. Mm-hmm. So this is bigger than, I think, us just saying, oh, well, it's not that big of a deal and Google doesn't really care. Oh, I think they care.
They care.
Especially when you're talking about, Eddie, you know this better than anybody with Facebook. They are the second largest company in the world when it comes to what? Data rights and data usage. They have all those figures like Google has.
Yeah, I think,
that's just my 2 cents, y'all. I'm sorry. And that's how I'm looking at it.
Can I just make one question, Chase, to you? So, do you think this news that just broke out today has a bigger impact in YouTube gaming or on Stadia?
Both.
Mm-hmm. But if you were to split as on short term and on medium term, of course, on short term, in a percentage, who takes the most damage right now?
Who takes the most damage?
Yeah, in terms of YouTube gaming and Stadia.
Well, YouTube gaming, I don't think has been at the forefront of any of the conversations as of late. They've still been ramping up. So if anyone takes the major hit, it's Stadia. That's where the public perception issue is at still.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So I think that's the whole issue here is that it's not that Google is dead. They're not flailing. They're not over. They're not ended. That's not it at all. But they can't be walking down the street any longer is my point. They need to start working at a brisk walk because we thought Xcloud was 2 miles behind them.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
They're 3/4 of a mile now.
Yeah. See, this is why I say that this is impactful, and I agree with Chase on this one, Eddie, that this is more impactful for Stadia. I don't see in the short term that YouTube gaming is unfazed. This is going to be more impactful for Stadia. Here's why. Xcloud, for all intents and purposes, technology-wise and performance-wise, is an inferior product. It's an inferior product. What they basically done is they said, okay, we're going to take our inferior product that has more mind share, that has more favorability, and we're now going to attach it to wide-reaching platforms like Facebook outside of the continental US and in North America, and to Instagram, which is huge everywhere. And so now it becomes a race to see who makes their games more easily accessible first. If Google is still ahead of this race, and even with their lower favorability, you can click on something on your phone and get into Stadia a lot faster and a lot more easier first, then okay, the edge is still with Google. But if Xcloud, even though it doesn't perform as well as Stadia, if Xcloud is first to allow you to be on Instagram, see somebody playing Cyberpunk 2077, and you just hit hashtag Cyberpunk 2077, and you can get in the game, and they got that rocking and rolling before Stadia, then Google has a problem. So
I understand my strategy here, but who the hell goes to Instagram to watch live streamings?
It's not that, Eddie. It's the point that I think that and this is what Generation was getting at earlier, is that you've got people that follow their favorite streamers on Instagram.
That's true.
You go and look at those accounts.
That's true. That's true. I didn't thought about that.
Yeah, you go and you look at those accounts. You got millions of followers, man, that follow those people. And all they got to do is drop, hey, here's a clip from my Call of Duty Warzone, whatever you want to call it, from earlier today. Come watch. And then all of a sudden they click on the link and they're brought instantly into the game. You're now talking the same thing that Stadia was doing to begin with.
Can I just bring in another point where completely ignoring what you said for me, it's the lion and the Serengeti. Everybody we're just talking about Stadia. We're forgetting about Amazon. What is happening in their cloud now? And Twitch is there's just so many question marks for everything now. This has just thrown everything up in the air slightly for me. And where is everything going to land? Because Amazon's Cloud we know it's coming. The Project Tempo is coming, but it's not being talked about by us as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
everybody forgot about it. They need to get out now, because this is everything in now is 60 mile an hour running down the line. Everybody is going all in cloud now. Will Amazon make a response? Never mind Stadia.
Well, no, and I think that's the overarching thing here, is that at the end of the day, you're seeing massive chess piece moves happening, and that's why, again, can Stadia rebound from this in 2 months? Absolutely. They could come in and do a massive drop on, we did this, this, and this. I'm not saying that they can't come back from this. All I'm saying is they can't just sit there and say, or, what some of the comments I saw, in my opinion, of, well, this isn't a big deal. Yeah. They can't sit there and say this isn't a big deal. This is competition. This is what we've been talking about. I said this last year, and I'm pulling the receipt out on this one. 2020 was going to be the war zone this year. Eddie remembers this too. I was talking about it on our podcast. Yep. This is what we are in right now. We are in that mode, and these companies are going to be cutthroat during this time. Yep. And either Google's going to come in and they're going to be cutthroat along with everybody else, or sadly, and I think this is what MM was trying to say, and I think maybe this is the better way to land this one, MM, is they're going to be behind the pack. There'll be 3 cars ahead of them, and they won't be in that lead dog position anymore. Mm-hmm. So if that's what Google wants, then that's fine. Listen, show what your expectations are. But I cannot imagine that that's what they wanted to do. That they wouldn't have launched this thing as early as they did if they didn't want to be in the lead position.
Look, I'm going to tell you something. When Jack Buser came out there on IGN and was so calm and so complacent, he echoed the sentiment that a lot of us were talking about, the data collection phase, because we all felt like, and they probably did too. I mean, they're cognizant of Microsoft efforts and how Microsoft has a little bit more mind share, and they're cognizant of Amazon, quote unquote, the line in the Serengeti, but they felt very comfortable with their tech. They felt that, hey, we're light years ahead of everybody else right now. It's just, we got to get the mind share. And then when they saw Amazon come out and stumble out the gate, they said, okay, it's hectic, but it's not going to be as hectic as we thought it was going to be. This is a gut punch to all that. This is a gut punch to all that. It's not a gut punch. It's not a knockout, but it's a gut punch to all that. I think it viably puts Google in a place to where they got to look at the milestones and the timelines that they have for certain things, and they might want to tweak the timing on them a little bit.
Yeah, and Eddie, you stole my point, because Clive had mentioned something in the chat about how YouTube could come back in and swoop in, and I think the part where that I was going to say is exactly what you were going to, not what you were going to say. What you said here is that Facebook has more features than YouTube currently as it exists. You're seeing a lot of streamers go over to Facebook for that reason. YouTube ain't got anything to offer anybody right now, other than they cut a massive paycheck to Ninja or to Shroud. And Clive's right on that. They could come in and swoop in and pick them up. But that doesn't diminish the fact that this was still a massive move by Microsoft today. Again, if you're sitting in a war room and you're a company, Clive, I'm saying this with all due respect, my friend, because I think you know where I'm coming from on this. You wouldn't sit there and tell the company's board that you're representing that, hey, that move that company A just did today, don't worry about it. It's not a big deal. Just play it off. Let it go. And then in 3 weeks' time, if you don't have anything lined up and they come in and hit you in the back of the neck, and then they drop 3 more things on you, and then all of a sudden you start hitting losses and you start seeing, diminishes in your returns. Well, then you can't operate like that as a business. That's all I'm trying to say, y'all. And I think MM, you're right when you've said a few times about us resetting and trying to make sure we're getting the point across right. Nobody here is saying Stadia is dead. No one here is saying that in regards to YouTube gaming and Stadia that they can't rebound from this. But if you don't think that this is a massive bit of news today, that's what I'm getting at. It's something they have to be cognizant of. They can't just sit in a room and twiddle their thumbs and go, oh, nothing's happening around us when everything is burning around them. You know, like you can't do that. You cannot operate like that.
Cloud gaming is still, I don't want to say niche, but it hasn't fully blossomed yet. We just think that once it does fully blossom, Google, you know, before this news today, I would have said that Google, once cloud gaming fully blossoms, Google is light years ahead. Now, after this news, I still think Google is ahead, but the gap has shrunk significantly because, again, you have two of the richest companies in the world combining their war chest, all have technologies that they can piggyback off of. And it's going to be a lot more challenging and a lot more difficult than we originally thought. That's big news. And again, we showed you that it's big news because the market is reacting to that. So that gives them even more money. You know what I mean? So that's all we're saying. I'm not saying that Google is now lost in the sauce. They've lost all this other stuff. But again, I wasn't trying to be facetious. I was trying to be comical about it. But because people in the chat were so flippant about this not being significant in any type of way, and I just don't see how. I don't see how. But you know, it's an open discussion, and you know, it is what it is. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Chase.
No, I respectfully disagree as well. I don't think that in my opinion, I don't think that it's fair to say that this isn't a big deal. Mm-hmm. But that's my opinion, and that's out of discourse. That's where I stand on it. But you know, Eddie brought up a good point, and I think here's what I think might be good to do, to switch this just a little bit, is on the positive side of it, and this I think is what Eddie was trying to get at, is that tomorrow, next week, 3 weeks from now, Google could come in here and drop haymakers or bombs and come back 5 steps ahead. Apex. And if they do that, Apex. God damn it, Eddie.
I'm sorry. Please continue.
You're already in trouble over that, Eddie.
They could easily come back and easily handle business and drop things that are significant, that brings things back in their favor. But that means that they have to actually have a brisk pace in how they're tackling things. Because, again, Microsoft, I don't know where they're at in their timeline, but I cannot imagine, and I'm sorry, Duncan, because I saw you about to say something, but just very quickly, I can't imagine that they're not close to their full rollout. That's probably coming in fall, where they're going to launch this thing to the world in regards to their paid model, whatever that's going to look like. So if that's the case, and you're Stadia, and they're already lining up the Facebook integration, and I can't imagine that they haven't already been behind the scenes, Eddie, and Duncan, already working on those features to get them ready. Oh, yeah. If that's already in the pipeline, Google's got to start making some moves. Because if Xcloud comes out and says, oh, guess what? Well, that Facebook integration where you can play a game off of clicking a link is already there, and Google hasn't already brought that into the fold, well, how's that going to look?
What I was just going to say is it's 5 out from 5, major news. But short term, even maybe into the medium term, it's not going to affect Stadia. It's when the features start rolling out, that's when it's going to really hit them, because there's nothing, doesn't look like there's anything going to change in the short term. I think we're talking about autumn time, fall time, when this is all going to sort of level out, because the Xbox are going to have to redesign their flipping dashboard again and drop out the mixer part. It's, again, I don't think there's nothing that's going to massively change short term. The only thing which could happen is if they come over and drop a truck full of money in front of the Shroud and in front of Ninja to get people on to get them onto YouTube. If they go to Twitch, that's a big thing. Again, just bringing it back to the Amazon thing, it's between 3 people, it seems. I think the reason why they got paid out of the contract is because they're trying to get as much money as possible, and you can't blame people for that, and it gives them more options. You've got 2 of the biggest streamers are now free agents, if you want to call them that, in the streaming wars. Who is going to snap them up? They could absolutely make a killing here. And our YouTube, Amazon with Twitch, and Facebook Microsoft, if they're in bed together now, are they going to put the money together to sign these ones up?
Guys, I just want to bring in something very quickly here and returning to you, So the article that I have from IGN states, this is the headline: Microsoft is shutting down Mixer, will now partner with Facebook Gaming. So they said, we're shutting down Mixer. July 22nd is the last day, so they have like 30 days right now to wrap it up. But here's the deal. What they said here at this article at this moment is that they will be transferring everyone to Facebook Gaming. It's not like from this article again, it doesn't say a partnership or so. So it's like, so we have all of these streamers on our platform. These streamers will now be on Facebook Gaming. If these streamers were already monetized, the word isn't it's partner, but if they were already monetized on our platform, now they're gonna be monetized on Facebook Gaming, and we'll have the opportunity to adhere to the Facebook Gaming model. This is just the article from IGN. From the perspective of, if you guys want to have a conversation at some other time about streaming, and when I'm meaning streaming, I'm meaning game streaming or just chatting streaming, or this streaming that we are doing right now on YouTube, we can talk about it. But on my point, what I would say it's regarding Stadia, I'm more towards Duncan that on the first, not on the first, but on the short term, this is not a big impact on Stadia. Then it's more of an impact on YouTube. And just to rest my case, and I finish, I swear, and YouTube, and I have said this recently, YouTube is a platform for videos. There are people who do live streams on YouTube. There are people who interact with these live streams, such as this amazing chat that we have here. But YouTube is a platform for videos. 95% of people who does watch YouTube, they watch the VODs and they don't watch live streamings. So number one platform for streaming, Twitch, because it's only streaming. Number two platform for streaming, we will see how it will go out on the next months or years.
Great point, Eddie. I just well, two things. I highly recommend everybody check out the Verge article, because it looks like that Phil Spencer sat down with Tom Warren to break this news, and they broke the news first, and then everyone's piggybacking off of that interview. Secondly, I don't think, again, if it was misconstrued and all of my yelling and screaming and excitement, I don't believe that tomorrow Stadia screwed, or Stadia better look out because the Facebook monster is coming to get them tomorrow. No, what I do believe is that because of the bold move, the access to each other's war chest, and the stated goal of these feature sets, it's now a race to see who releases those feature sets first. If Google releases the feature sets first, then they continue to have that momentum. If via Facebook's access to Facebook and Instagram, Xbox releases its Xcloud feature sets first, where you basically just click something on Instagram or Facebook and you hop right into a game. If that gets released first, then that's problematic for Google. Or any of those feature sets right around the corner, I agree with Eddie and Duncan and Chase. No, they're not. I'm just saying that this is significant because we thought Microsoft would have to build this on their own, and it looks like, and with us believing Microsoft would build this on their own, we were like, oh yeah, these guys are well behind. But now that they got the power of Facebook with them as well, that they've closed the gap considerably on their end. Stadia is still ahead, but again, it's now a race to see who gets those feature sets out first, to tell who's going to keep the edge. That's basically what I was saying.
Well, and just remember, and I think this is important, and this is actually to what Eddie was talking about. This is the other side of that coin that Eddie was breaking down. Stadia doesn't sell unless those features are there. So YouTube and Stadia are 1 and 1. They have to be. That's what makes the platform attractive. And now you're seeing that Xcloud will be heavily embedded within Facebook gaming, where you'll be able to click a link or click the actual stream that the streamer is doing, and it takes you right into Xcloud. That is a direct partnership. You see Facebook gaming offering these major streamers to be in Xcloud and stream on Facebook gaming. That's how they implied it in this article, was that they were going to use the Microsoft service to actually game. If that ends up being the case, because again, I think strategically what these streamers just did is exactly what I would have told them to do if I was in the background for them legally, is you take the buyout, you get paid, and then you renegotiate. You don't stick with the same contract that you got right now in hand and then go over to the new platform with that same contract. No, get bought out and then find your best position, leverage. Make these companies negotiate for you. Make Twitch come in and try to give you the higher amount of money. Make YouTube come in and give you the higher amount. Make Facebook, and then go with whoever's going to be the best option at the end of the day. But if Facebook was going to double that number that Mixer was paying them, that's $60 million, MM.
Yeah.
Is YouTube really going to reach into their back pocket and pay that kind of cash to Ninja? I don't know.
I don't know.
I gotta tell you, Chase, they already reached a lot of money to pay to PewDiePie to stream on YouTube.
I know, but that's what I'm trying to get at, Eddie, is we don't know what their budget is. What was their operating budget going to be for spending for the streamers?
Right. Jay Stroke has brought an interesting point. Stadia go out, or not Stadia, YouTube go out and break the bank to get Ninja. Does Fortnite come on board then? Because who's the biggest streamer for Fortnite? And it would give Stadia a bit of more of a negotiation, but I thought that was maybe an interesting wee point.
And I would just add to this, 95 or 98% of people, the big streamers on every single platform, they are PC gamers. So only if a game is exclusive to the platform, they will play on that specific platform, be the PS4 or Xbox. Now, if they are playing something else, they're playing on the PC, which, by the way, I don't see a problem. And to talk about the features on Stadia, all right, we already know one feature that we ourselves use, which we get the link and say, hey, guys, here's the link. Come join, play with us. Krita, it's launching that. It's the same feature that we use, but Krita is calling it something, state share or something, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yep.
And it will be coming on July 1st in beta. So I guess we were in alpha because we were already using this before. So I'm still interested because this feature is already out there on Stadia. It's just not being promoted too much. We don't have any big streamer on YouTube or even in any platform. It doesn't matter. You just need to copy the link, put it on your chat, and your chat will click the link and will be playing with you. It doesn't matter if you are on Twitch, if you are on YouTube, or if you are on Facebook gaming. So it's just a matter of
I think what's bigger, Eddie and Chase, and I'll be real quick with this, Chase, is that I think what's even bigger is not just for accessibility of putting it in your stream, but I'm thinking more of the social media platform.
Correct.
Like, again, I'm watching, Chase puts out there, man, I had a great time on Cyberpunk 2077. And he puts a little small snippet of him. And I know people that do this now, puts a small snippet on Instagram. He might have more followers on Instagram than he might have anywhere else. And then I see it on Instagram and then I share it with my friends. And then I just click a hashtag and then I can get access to, Cyberpunk 2077 via Instagram on Xcloud. That's I'm thinking of the social media integration than I am just being able to manually place a link somewhere. That's why I think this is big.
Will they allow ads from Stadia on it now? There's a question.
They already do banners within Facebook gaming. So what they'll probably do is they'll integrate a banner that's for that game that ties it back to the Xcloud instance, which is why I think. Go ahead.
Sorry, what I was meaning, you don't see Xbox promotions on PlayStation, will we see Stadia ads being allowed on Facebook?
They
On
may
Instagram?
block them.
Yeah, I'm just putting it out there. There's just something to just another wee talking point. There is how or
Duncan, as a Facebook user, I can tell you that they are already there.
yeah, I'm just saying with this tie up now in the future when Xcloud becomes available on Facebook, will they block them or not, and they'll allow to have the link jump in now on Stadia when it's going to be competing directly with the Xcloud integration for their Facebook gaming. It's just a thing to think about. Will they actually do that?
I think the paragraph that you've got there, MM, is what I was trying to talk about. Is there is clearly a partnership that they've forged now with Facebook intentionally, and their goal is to try to get xCloud more visibility, which is exactly why this deal is, I think, a big deal as it relates to Stadia. Their whole move here was to position themselves to be into the digital landscape. As soon as they drop this, I'm telling y'all, mark my words, mark down the date, the time, EDT, CST, I don't care what T it is. Mark down the time. As soon as this box drops in November or December, they are immediately going to pivot to cloud. It's going to happen, y'all. They are already showing the signs of it right here.
Oh, no, they are. They've already made the strategic xCloud and Series X are releasing simultaneously. xCloud in a more infant state, but no, they're looking strategically to make every game that's available on Xbox Series X to be available on xCloud, and just xCloud is just will be behind the curve a little bit, but we don't know how much now with this. We'll just have to see. Phil Spencer already made that announcement. He said that when they release Xbox Series X and xCloud, whatever its retail name is going to be, is releasing simultaneously.
Yeah, I just meant that their marketing and their push is going to be heavily on this stuff. I mean, this is a no-brainer now. Mm-hmm. And if Facebook was the one that was shelling out the money for the contracts, like you said, MM, and Xbox, the only thing they got to worry about is making sure xCloud's integrated over there. And it gets Facebook only cares about one thing, y'all. And that's clicks and views on Facebook because of what? Ad revenue. Because of what? Just like Google does, ad revenue. That's how they get their money. They also get money from what? Your data, by taking your data and selling it to companies. So with that being the case, Facebook is happy about this because they just opened their whole world up to the entire gaming landscape in the instance, in a moment's notice. This has got so many far-reaching implications behind this, man. It's absolutely just crazy. And Duncan's right. There's so many things. Oculus, the data. It's insanity. And that's why I think Google is going to be concerned about this today. They did not come into work today happy, I'm sure. I'm sure they are sitting again in their offices going, okay, now how do we combat this? What's going to be our next move?
And just the Guinness point there, about next gen consoles, like they have came out, Xbox have came out and said xCloud will be supporting Xbox Series X next year. So the news is already out there that if you hold off for a bit, you might be able to play on. You might not even need the Series X because it is coming. Well,
yeah, you won't need Series X, but and I was just responding to the Guinness about the same thing. xCloud still is an inferior product to Stadia. However, this again just adds to the outreach that xCloud could potentially have. I think within that first year at launch, xCloud may not be, it'll be, xCloud will act as a GFN does to PC. It'll be a complement. But what they're hoping is over the next year or so, xCloud will become more independent and will be able to stand alone, be just as impactful as the Series X. So again, this announcement doesn't impact the fact that the tech is still inferior. It just means that there's a possibility that more people are going to have xCloud at their feet, or the capabilities of xCloud at their feet, than we originally thought. And that is an impactful thing. Any other thoughts, my good friends, on all this? Because we touched every square inch. We have a multitude of different opinions. They were all good. I just find it important. Again, I don't want to make anybody feel like that their opinions were inferior in the chat, and I apologize if it came off that way. I get PTSD. I'm going to admit it. I come from a community where people were dismissive like this. Oh, PlayStation will never get it. PlayStation got smashed last generation. They're not coming back. Look, the Kinect camera, it did well at the end of the 360 generation. It's going to kill it this generation, and look what happened. I already see the signs of it, and I'm seeing a little bit of it today, and I'm just trying to make sure everyone's cautious. But with that being said, everyone's thoughts are appreciated, and we thank you guys for listening. But before we close this out, any closing thoughts by the panel? Anybody want to, touch on this one last time?
Eddie deserves the spotlight, man.
Definitely, yeah.
I agree. Absolutely.
Why?
Because you're awesome.
I think we already have touched everything here. Again, I always have been talking about streaming. What I was talking about streamers and etc. was because I have been following a lot of these discussions of streamers coming to YouTube or to Facebook gaming. I have friends who are monetizing on Facebook gaming, who have contract. Facebook cutting the contract because he wasn't delivering according to the performance that they were expecting at the beginning. So it will be interesting, especially not so much at the beginning right now in terms of Stadia and Xcloud, but at this next 3-4 months are going to be very, very interesting in terms of the landscaping of streaming in video game streaming, meaning YouTube, Facebook gaming, and Twitch. I'll be looking at that. By the way, are you planning on start streaming on Stadia Dosage webpage on Facebook?
This show actually is being simulcast to Facebook, but as far as games are concerned, I'm not. Not just yet. I'm not yet.
Which, by the way, is the same perception as people like Ninja and Shroud had on Facebook, because the article from IGN mentioned Shroud, Ninja, but there's another guy as well called Corey Michael from King Gothalion. Maybe King Gothalion is his is his Twitter username, which it's he. Oh, okay. He is a co-owner of King Coast. Anyway, he said, "Yeah, I'm signing up with Facebook," but most people, it's weird. The same way that when I say we, like heavy gamers, we are not so much fans of mobile gaming. Most of people are not a fan of streaming on Facebook as well.
Yeah, exactly. I don't think the impact. I don't think Facebook gaming is going to be the impact for all this. Not for a while. It's just what really like raises my eyebrows is the whole Instagram integration. That really, I'm telling you, that really got me.
I still think it's huge for the reasons though of the other regions. So for places like the Middle East, the Asian markets, Brazil, that's what I'm looking at, because that's
Xcloud arrive on those places early. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's exactly it, Eddie. And again, we're looking at this from a North American lens or a European lens, but at the end of the day, it hasn't taken off here yet, and that's what I think you were getting at, MM. It's not big here, but heaven forbid if it did become big here with all the things that they're making moves on. That's what I'm talking about. Is you have to be ready to start now, being on that brisk walk. And it's not that Google isn't doing anything behind the scenes. I don't think anyone here is saying that Google's not working. Mm-hmm. But you gotta now have a little bit more of a sense of, again, I don't even want to say urgency, just a sense of a brisk walk, because you now have 3 companies that are coming at you now between Sony, Microsoft, and Facebook. and then couple that with Instagram. It's I don't even know what to say, MM. If they integrate this thing over into those markets, especially down in Brazil, I know Eddie's talked about this many times about how big that would be down there.
Mm-hmm.
Or Stadia gets down there, that's going to be
just
serious.
to add to that, because Brazilians are most likely to accept the Xcloud, not Xcloud. What's the name of Game Pass model?
Yeah.
Than Stadia model. So
yeah,
if the Xcloud launches with the with the Game Pass model in those third world countries, yep, Microsoft is going to be doing good.
Yeah, and Xbox is big in Brazil, right, Eddie? It's
right.
Huge. It's huge. So, yep. Any final thoughts, Duncan or Chase?
Ma'am, I sent a message in the private chat for you.
Yeah, Clive. Oh, Eddie's already beat me to it. Thank you, Eddie.
Let me see. Do you have a link? Oh yeah. Also, we have Clive doing his Monday night show. Definitely check that out. He has a different perspective, but what Clive does is Clive doesn't talk all emotion. He backs all his stuff up with receipts. You know what I'm saying? So a very entertaining show, but a very fact-based show, and definitely to get a full breadth of perspectives here. Definitely after watching this, go check with Clive. Do we have a link to his show?
I already just dropped it on the chat.
You dropped it in there. Oh, excellent. You definitely want to check out what Clive is going to be presenting for his show. Definitely. So you check that out. All right. Any other final thoughts before we go?
Don't everybody speak at once, sir?
One time. Yeah, I think we've exhausted. I think people got tired of me yelling and screaming. Hey, Alex. Hey, look, but as a Fortune 500 guy, I'm not as high as you, but as a Fortune 500 guy, man, yeah, that was. I mean, I just thought out there it was just distasteful. Nobody should know. I mean, look, the guy's talented. No one's saying lose your job. We've already got enough people losing their jobs today. That's not it. It's just remove the tweet. It's just not good. And as a big time fan of the platform, Google is better than this. We don't want to exercise in that. You know, you represent the company. That's why you got that blue check mark. Just remove the tweet. That's all. You know. So.
Yeah, and just don't display arrogance when you're not in a position to act arrogant.
Absolutely. Yes.
And if you find a phone at the park, please don't turn off the phone. Return to keep it on and wait for a call.
Yes.
I don't even know where we're going with that one, but
yeah, guess who lost a phone coming
home?
No, Eddie, no.
Yeah.
Oh, jeez. Oh man.
What is with today? Why is Mondays always turned into this as of late?
Chase, it's all your fault. Chase, it's all your fault.
I agree with that.
I'm passing it to Duncan. It's Duncan's fault.
Don't worry, I get blamed by everybody. If it's bad news, I get the blame for it. So I'm used to it now.
Well, guys, thank you so much. This was a power panel. Thank you so much for joining and giving your thoughts on this. This was great. And again, just to close off, I don't think nobody here feels that like Stadia's in trouble. They're underwater. No, absolutely not. It's just, you know, some of us feel this has a little bit more impact than others do, but it's always our job here to give you the business aspect of it, the Fortune 500 lane in all this. And I think everybody's opinions, including those in the chat, are valuable nonetheless. But with that said, I want to thank everybody for coming through. So many of you guys, we were at like 48 concurrent at one point in time. That's huge for this channel. Thank you so much, guys. And until something else happens, we'll see you on the flip side. Peace.
Stay sick cause I follow my gut. They say I was pushing my luck. I'ma push me a matte all black truck. Oh, I'm not sorry.